song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. You're my one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. And great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only.
You give life.
You give life, you are love, you bring light to the darkness, you give hope, you restore every heart that is broken. Great are you, Lord. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. We pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise. Pour out our praise. It's your breath in our lungs, so we pour out our praise to you only. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great are you, Lord. And all the earth will shout your praise. Our hearts will cry, these bones will sing. Great
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. Good to be back. Oh, thank you. Did you miss me? It's great to be here. Jane Price back with us today. You may remember Jane has played with us a couple times with her sister, Ruth. Fabulous violinist who plays regularly with the St. Louis Symphony and has played regularly with the Chicago Symphony, and that's as good as it gets right there. She is the violin instructor at Washington University, a little school down the street, and regularly plays with Chamber Project St. Louis and the Chamber Music Society of St. Louis. And today, she plays with me. So please welcome back Jane Price.
Thank you, Jane and Steve. Getting to our service. We're glad to have you back, Jane and Steve. We really did miss you last week. I did a poor imitation, but we missed you. So if we haven't met, I am Reverend Jan Mourning. It is my honor and privilege to serve here as First Unity's senior minister. And I just want to extend a special welcome to all of you, those of you in the sanctuary, those of you out in the world watching live or later. We are so glad that you decided to spend your Sunday morning with us. We know that you had many choices. We are an unapologetically inclusive spiritual community, and we welcome everyone. No matter where you've been or what you've done, you are welcome here. So if you are here for the very first time, there's a little yellow card. We call it a guest information card. In the pew in front of you, there should be. And if you would fill that out and you would like to look on the back, there's a little box where you can request a year's subscription, complimentary, from our Daily Word magazine, which you'll hear from in a few minutes from Mary Tuminello. So please take advantage of that. And if you also, if you're watching online, if the streamers, you can have absolutely the same option if you just look at our website, unitystl.org, and hit the Contact Us section. Likewise, we have prayer available. If you're in the sanctuary today, you can pray directly with Mary. And if you're out in the world, you can hit the Need Prayer link, and we will keep you in prayer for 30 days. So don't forget that. Okay, great gratitude to everyone who has donated to our Abundant and Free initiative. Just this morning, we turned it over. We have collected over $10,000, and we're grateful. We're so grateful. Now, sadly, we've also spent most of that, and that's true from all of our big expenses, but we are so grateful for it. And so everyone who's contributed, thank you. The board discussed last week that the sky's looking a little gray, and there are places where the bricks don't look quite as red. In other words, we'd like to see the rest of it filled in, okay? Actually, we started with 180 pieces, and we have about 30 left. So we're going to steal this idea from Panera, and we're going to do a pick two. So any amount of donation that you would like to give, take not only one, but two puzzle pieces. And I believe Julie Godey will be out after, right, Julie, to help you with that. And let's see that filled in. We'd love to keep it as an artifact. We'd love to display it at our 100th anniversary next year. So we really want to complete the puzzle. I am praying that the number of blanks on the board and the number of puzzle pieces are equal. That's my prayer. So I hope we haven't lost any. So also, World Day of Prayer is September 14th. Our sanctuary will be open from 8:30 in the morning till 5 p.m. You're absolutely welcome to drop in anytime and stay as long as you like. We'll have a little card with some affirmations you can say and some prayers. Chaplains will be available all day long to pray with you if you'd like. And we do hold a unity prayer service on the hour, so 8, 9, 10, all the way through the day. People like that, so if you want to arrange your coming around that would be great. Prayer slips are on the table in the lobby right by the prayer box for you to submit names and prayer intentions for any of your loved ones, for the country, for the world, for anything. Put the white slip in the prayer box and keep the little yellow copy so that you can join us also in praying on World Day of Prayer. And afterwards, we'll send all of your intentions to Silent Unity. So, also, I haven't talked about this a lot, but I need to let everybody know about it because it's coming up. We are putting final touches this week on our Adventures and Healing service. This is a service to be held on September 9th from 9 to 1. It is a combined labor of love from all the area Unity chaplains, but we're hosting it here. There's a brochure out there giving all of the offerings. I can't probably remember them all, but we have healing bowls, we have Reiki, we have hopefully essential oils, yoga, nutrition, and immunity, all sorts of really cool sessions, and you can go to 3 sessions. There's short 20-minute sessions. So it's a wonderful day, and if you're interested in healing, which we all are, there are many kinds of healing, please join us. You can register on our website. You can come even if you don't register, but we're just trying to figure out how many healthy snacks we need to purchase, okay? So just a few announcements, and then we'll continue. Today at noon, actually today I think 11:45, where's Lynn? Is that what we said, 11:45? Give you 15 minutes to have a break. We'll have our first prayer chaplain orientation session. So if you are just even wondering if this might be yours to do or wanting to find out what it's all about, we'll do, it's just a very informal conversation about the prayer chaplain program. And we'll have another one in September, so if you can't make this one, you can come then. Tickets are on sale. They were on sale last week for the Murder Mystery Dinner Theater. Chuck's in the back. October 15th at Andre's on Telegraph Road. If you've not attended one of these, they're really fun. They just are a lot of fun, a lot of laughter and a lot of fun. It's the dinner, and the food is good. It was dinner, performance, and an open bar for $50. So invite all your friends and family, but know that we do have a limited number because of the space in the room. So I'm getting my tickets today. So see Chuck after service, and that would be great. Also, school supply drive ends today. I did put out a flock note about that yesterday. There's a little basket for those of you like me who didn't get around to shopping. If you'd like to throw in some money or a check, that'd be great. Make the checks out to First Unity Church. Books are all in for Hope's 12 Powers class beginning December 12th from 7 to 9. The 12th, September, what did I say? Oh, September. September, thank you. I guess my mind on Christmas already. September the 12th, this will be a 6-week class. there's a lot to the 12 powers. There really are. And so this is a chance for you to explore them more deeply and just talk to each other about them, which is a great way to deepen your own learning. Finally, today is the absolute deadline for ordering our uni t-shirts. There are 2 types from which to choose. They're in the bookstore. I really would love for everybody who goes out and serves in the community, whether it's Habitat for Humanity or Feed My People or whatever, to wear a shirt. So if you possibly can, get yours today. And you can look at all the other dates that are on the calendar. I blew it up a little bit so you can see it better this week. Today's message is in order. So please stand if you are willing and able to sing within our first community song, How Could Anyone Ever Tell You? And thank you, 𝒕𝒍𝒐𝒘𝒊𝒏𝒈, for leading our songs today.
How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you were anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you were less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
Good morning on this warm, beautiful day. My name is 𝒕𝒍𝒐𝒊𝒏𝒆, and I have the privilege today of being your prayer chaplain. After the service, I will be over by the window to pray with you on anything you need, whether it's a need or a joyous gratitude. We can pray for both. And as always, all prayers are confidential. Our word today is understanding. With understanding, my spirit is always cool. Would you say that with me? With understanding, my spirit is always cool. One of the best ways to remain calm in an agitated circumstance is to practice understanding. Seeking to understand gives me information and insight and ease my reactivity. It keeps my emotional thermostat dialed down if I am tempted to lose my cool. Perhaps poet Rudyard Kipling was referring to understanding in his poem, If, when he wrote of the importance of keeping your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. Properly mastered, my power of understanding gives me the strength and presence of mind to be a beacon in times of trouble and crisis. Whatever this day may bring, I will carry the light of understanding with me. I am cool in spirit, I am understanding. And from Proverbs Verse 17, chapter 27, one who is cool in spirit has understanding. Let us pray. For just this moment right here, let us bring up any circumstance, disagreement, problem, and then let us take that deep breath. And as we let it out, go within and find that power of release. We know with understanding we can see the other side of things, and Divine Spirit will lead us down the perfect path. Remember, it's not in the situation. It's in our understanding and our belief and how we feel about it that will guide us. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you. That was absolutely beautiful. So, there was a young girl named Alice, and at bedtime she said to her mother, "Mommy, could I stay up a little longer tonight? I have some serious thinking to do." So her mom, being really a wise mother, instead of looking at it as a stalling tactic, said, "Well, sure, honey, if you need a little time to think, that would be fine." So it wasn't long before Alice came bounding back into the kitchen and said, "I'm ready for bed now, Mom." So as the mom was putting her to bed, she said, "Well, Alice, do you mind if I ask what was so important that you had to think about it?" And she said, "Oh, Mom, I was thinking about gravity. And I decided that God is gravity in the center of the earth, holding people right side up when the world is upside down." And so, it's true that considering current events like mass shootings, political division and discord, the war in Ukraine, and I won't go on, we may think sometimes that our world is upside down, right? Actually, metaphysicians see chaos, which is what upside down would mean, chaos in a different light. In the Unity text, The Creative Process, they write, "We begin by acknowledging and accepting the presence of chaos, the darkness that may be present in our experiences. Our choice is to affirm that in the chaos, God and good are present." So chaos does not necessarily mean a disorderly mess. It can be something we can use, the chaos and the darkness, to break up our crystallized thinking and to break open infinite possibilities in the future. There actually is no place that we can ever be that God is not. Years ago, we had a prayer chaplain who continually would say, "Well, God is in the muck." Well, by that she meant the perfect divine energy that we call God is always present, enfolding us and supporting us. There is nothing in this life that we ever need to face alone, and the powers within us are greater than the powers in the outer world. So we've been studying some of those powers the past few weeks. Actually, what we call in Unity the 12 powers. These are innate gifts that we can activate in order to express our Christ consciousness no matter what. No matter what is showing up in the outer world. The powers are all really expressions of the one presence and one power, and they all work together just as we call them forth and activate them. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore, as many of you know, identified a disciple to go with each one of the powers. There are 12 powers and 12 disciples, so that works. And later, colors were added by Reverend Joe Bayer. And on the screen, you can see what the colors are for each power. So we have been working with these powers in dyads and pairs, as suggested in the book The 12 Freedoms by Reverend Phil Pearson. Last week, we explored the power of the stabilizing dyad, the power of strength, our ability to be courageous, steady, and stay the course, which is an important power. Strength's companion power is order, our order to organize, our power, to organize, adjust, and evolve and grow. So Charles Fillmore calls order the first law of the universe. He says, indeed, there could be no universe without its various parts, no universe unless its various parts were kept in perfect harmony, Just think of it. The sun rises and the sun sets. Spring follows winter. The night sky sparkles with beautiful constellations that are perfect patterns. The acorn drops and an oak tree forms. All growth cycles occur in perfect sequence because of the laws of nature. Order is the foundation of all life. It really is. Linda Martella Whitsitt, in her book about the powers entitled Divine Audacity, writes, "Order is the architecture of the universe, everything from the spiral of a nautilus to a hexagonal honeycomb, from infinity lines to ever-expanding circles, displays orderliness, or order, we could just say, that dazzled scientists and theologians alike." And so the order of the natural world really is a manifestation of spiritual order. And that's that divine intelligence underlying all life. But Reverend Winifred Hausman asked a compelling question. Are you ready? See who knows the answer to this. It's not an easy question to answer. Why is it that humankind, considered to be the highest form of life, seems to have so much difficulty establishing harmony and orderly growth, while the plants, animals, and birds go right along living as they are intended to live? Anybody have any idea why that's so? It is a complex question. We probably won't answer it today overnight. Although Hausman does have an answer. Here's her answer. She says, while all life forms have a built-in intelligence that helps them adjust to their environment, that includes us, we humans have also been given the freedom of choice. You know that pesky little thing called free will? We can do with it what we wish. And so we are actually free agents with the ability to consciously and critically choose, make decisions, and determine the direction of our lives. When we activate our power of order, we put ourselves in tune with God ideas, and we attract ourselves to right relationships, fulfilling experiences, and are ready for this? All the time to do what we need to do. How many of us would like that? I would. Okay. So we've seen this before, unless you're fairly new with us, but it's important to remember that as spiritual beings having a human experience, we dwell in two realms simultaneously. There's this absolute realm, that's the realm of God, what Jesus called the kingdom of heaven. And that realm is the total of all divine ideas in their purity and power. I mean, ideas like wholeness and life and love and harmony. And as I said, Jesus called that the kingdom of heaven. Also, however, we dwell in the relative realm, our outer world, our constantly changing physical world with temporary appearances. When things seem out of control, and they will seem that way from time to time, we can choose to fall into fear and angst, or we can choose to turn our pivotal souls to the absolute realm and call forth the power of order, among other divine ideas. And we do that by going within. That's where the kingdom of heaven is. So Unity legend Eric Butterworth said, no matter how real or frightening a situation may seem, it is still a transitory thing. Only the good is real and lasting. So the disciple who represents order is James, son of Alphaeus, to distinguish himself from the other James. This disciple worked really quietly with the other disciples to create harmony, just as the power of order works quietly with the other powers to do the same. And this is really an orderly, steady growth we're talking about here. James in the Greek meant supplanter, and Alphaeus meant spiritual man. So when you put that together, this disciple represents replacing error thoughts with spiritual truths. So the energy center for that is behind the navel, and that's where a complex nerve system establishes order in the lower body. And the color is emerald green. We had a light green for another power, but this is emerald green. So like all the powers, order works at 3 levels. Anybody remember what they are? Physical, what? Mental, and spiritual. Thank you, very good. So whether you're planning a party, sending an email, or painting a room, order expedites the process, right? There has to be an order to it. At the physical level, order works with strength to determine the way we organize and sequence our day, and also to enable us to establish and accomplish goals. That's important. Mentally, order works to create patterns and plans. Just think about our recent church picnic. All the planning and preparation went into that, and everything went beautifully and smoothly, and none of that planning was really visible, but it had happened. So that's what order does for us. Now, if we fail to adequately activate this power, it can result in being unorganized, scattered, or messy. Okay? I'm not looking at anyone in particular, but that's what it can do. I vividly remember what our son's room looked like when he was a teen, having to close the door when guests arrive. You know, when the doorbell rang, I'd run upstairs and close that door. But in our human skins, we can overdevelop this power also by becoming obsessive about order and sequence. I once observed a teacher walking down the hall with 3 little boys behind her. They were like second graders, I think. And she kept turning around and saying, "Boys, I told you to get in a straight line. Boys, get in a straight line." And all of a sudden, the little boy at the end looked at me and whispered, "Why do we have to get in a straight line? The hall is really wide and there are only 3 of us." I would say he had a good point, actually. So used spiritually, now we talked about physical and mental, but used spiritually, the order of power is the outgrowth of our complete agreement and cooperation with spiritual law. This means in the face of any relative truth, we can align in absolute truth. I remember vividly the day when my late husband was diagnosed with cancer, and in the midst of all the fear and shock, the words just came to me almost as a voice, and the words were, "Jan, it's time to learn to live the truth you know." And I had to revisit that several times during the process, but it's true. There's always a greater truth. Jesus told us, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." Free from living from only that outer reality that our eyes and senses take in. Free from the past. Free from the tyranny of others' thoughts and opinions. Charles Fillmore tells us we can never be free until we know who and what we are and manifest that in divine order. Okay, it's important to realize that many of us in New Thought, myself too occasionally, misuse our power of order when we claim divine order. And this is the way it works. We say it's all in divine order when something happens that we judge to be negative, kind of as a reason to give us faith, I guess. Or we say the same thing when something happens that's good, when good shows up, like divine synchronicity. Either way, it's all in divine order can seem to imply a predestined plan, and our lives is a blueprint. Every detail determined from our first breath to our death. It's all laid out for us. So I just say, then what's the point, right? This implies that we are in no way responsible for what happens to us, but there's a separate puppeteer God up in the sky giving out rewards and punishments to keep us on the right path, right? I don't know about you, but that was the child of my childhood, and I've given up that. I see somebody shaking your heads. I've given up that false sense of what God is. So misuse of divine order has been called Unity's version of it's God's will. There's a horrible... I heard somebody from Hawaii the other day saying, well, this is God's will, and God bless her, if that gives her comfort. But God's will for us is what? Anybody remember? Ever unfolding absolute good. That's what divine will is for us. So now divine order, what does it really mean if we've been using it sometimes wrongly? Well, it means that everything happens under this orderly operation of universal laws. Charles Fillmore defines divine order as the law, and you've heard this before, of mind, idea, and expression. It's a point of power as we turn to the absolute realm and co-create what we want with that perfect energy of spirit. So, for example, we hold an idea in mind, like cleaning out a closet or experiencing a healing. Then we imagine it, we envision it, we feel the emotion around it. That feeling is an important part of it, and we live in divine expectation of it showing up. And that's how we use this law of mind, idea, and expression. So Linda 𝒕𝒊𝒏𝒆 adds to that. She writes, God is not some superhuman being imposing order on us. God is order, the organizing principle underlying all life. So one with the intelligence of the divine mind, we take hold of these divine ideas and we, with God's help, bring them into expression. So one aspect, or 3 aspects of order, and one aspect of it is simply to organize our lives. We can observe that organizing principle in nature for clues about how to bring it into our own lives. My husband and I used to absolutely love to sit on our deck in the spring and watch as the trees unfolded in the woods. They began to bud, and eventually the entire area was just transformed with beautiful shades of green, to the point that we couldn't see the house behind our property, which we can see in the winter and the fall. So that same alignment of order everywhere, it's going on everywhere in the universe, throughout the world, and also in our own minds, in our consciousness. When the poet Robert Frost was asked the secret of how he could possibly be so upbeat about everything, he said, "Every morning I rise and I make a practice to do two things. First, I make up my bed, and second, I make up my mind." And he says, as I smooth out the wrinkles in the covers, I just imagine the wrinkles being smoothed out of my head, getting my thoughts in order. Then, with my mind made up, I face whatever the day has in store for me. Nothing can disturb the peace of my soul. What a beautiful affirmation. Nothing can disturb the peace of my soul. Now, Butterworth calls this a tremendous realization. He advises the important thing is to make up your mind, get mentally and spiritually prepared for the day, whether or not you make up your bed. Making up your mind is more important. Too often, what we really give our minds for breakfast is a review of all the horrible things going on in the world. If you turn on the news in the morning, or I get those little news feeds, and sometimes I just turn them off. I'm like, I want to think something positive before I read this. We get sucked into believing everything is out of order and that we have no power. Despite life's sadness, grief, and pain, we can lift our minds to a higher place, and therefore we're guided to spiritual right thinking and right action. So the second feature of order is adjustment. Now, just as our bodies adjust from optimal conditions for healing, we also have the power to adjust our activities, what we do with our time. This aspect of order is sometimes called balance. In fact, in most of the older books, it is called balance. I admit that many times in my life, I have prayed for balance. Prayer chaplains, you all know that because you've prayed with me. I've prayed for balance between work and my family, between stillness and activity, between supporting my kids and letting them grow up. You know, we all have to deal with those things. But wise teachers have helped me understand that it's really impossible to remain perpetually balanced. Linda Martello-Whitsett says, our daily schedules are not a balancing act. They are more like a juggling act in which we can only hold up one pin at a time. Makes sense, right? So we have to decide which pin to hold up. And through our power of order, along with strength and wisdom, we know exactly what is ours to do or not do moment by moment. That's pretty powerful. So in this consciousness, we are able to put first things first, which is one of Stephen Covey's 7 habits. And long before Covey, the great philosopher, said, the thing which matters most must never be at the mercy of the things that matter least. Okay, true story. Long time ago, I had a neighbor whom I'll call Joe, and Joe spent most of his time, and I assume a lot of money, working in his tiny yard. I mean, he planted flowers, he weeded, he seeded, he fed them, he did everything. He was in that yard constantly, and I have to admit, his yard looked like a miniature version of botanical gardens. It was beautiful. However, his 7 kids were not allowed in the yard. Therefore, they ran the neighborhood and played in everybody else's yards, including mine, okay? He was afraid they might disturb his beautiful turf. When Joe was not in the yard, which was not very often, he would sit on his tiny front porch, guzzle beer, and cuss at all the neighbors who walked by for fear that they or their dogs might touch his masterpiece. So, one might say Joe did have one good attribute, and that was he was determined to get his family to church on Sunday morning. That sounds good, doesn't it? However, it had to be the early service, and he would go out in his van like 20 minutes before, start looking at his watch, and start screaming at the kids, "You better get your blankety butts down here, or you'll be sorry you were ever born." Actually, his language was a lot more colorful than that, but I cleaned it up considerably. And then he would say, "No family of mine is going to be late for church." Joe chose his priorities. One of the neighbors said to me one day, "I think he cares more about that yard than he does his marriage and his kids." Now that's a judgment, but it did seem from the outer to be true, actually. So the thing is, we each get to choose what to put first, don't we? We each get to choose. That's part of this, of using this power. And I think Job could be considered, his story, a power, a fact of strength. He had a lot of strength. He stuck with what he was doing, but he didn't have the order and wisdom to go with it. And so that's why sometimes our powers have to go together. Jesus helped us choose priorities. He said, seek first the kingdom of God, and all that you need will be added to you. When we put God first, when we turn in our hearts to Christ consciousness, all the rest falls in place. So what really matters? Well, I wouldn't propose to tell you what you have to think really matters, but I'll tell you what I think really matters. Love matters. Our soul's own growth matters. Recognizing the Christ in every single human being, no exceptions, matters. And looking for the good matters. It matters a lot. So our ability to adjust is really a spiritual resource that gives us an affirmative outlook on life. Charles Fillmore said, activating our power to adjust, we literally change our energy, shift our awareness, uplift our attitude, and transform our life. So that's pretty powerful. So the final aspect of order is to evolve. Just as there is in nature that constant effort to multiply, improve, and increase, there's also a constant urge in humankind to grow, unfold spiritually, to be always more and never less than we were created to be. This actually is a lifetime process. It's not an instant waffle deal. It's a lifetime process. Jesus tells us in Mark 4:28, the earth produces first the stalk, then the ear, then the full grain in the ear. Metaphysicians explain that here Jesus is pointing to the orderly growth of our God-given potential. We often start our study of truth in an intellectual way, and that's represented by the stalk. Remember, Charles Fillmore told us, though, wisdom is not really wise. I mean, the intellect is not really wise. So that's the beginning, and that's fine. That's the beginning of our inner growth. But then as spiritual ideas develop in our minds and hearts, we come to the point to the ear, which represents the ripening fruit of practicing the presence of God. Not reading about it, not talking about it, but practicing it. And that happens in prayer, reflection, and meditation. Finally, we reach that fulfillment stage of the full grain, the expression of spirit through our whole being, the realization that we are one with the harmonious, continuous forward movement of the universe. Our spiritual growth, as with all growth, is a process rooted in order. So, here's my favorite quote. A lot of you have seen it before. It's by Michael Beckwith, New Thought minister Michael Beckwith. He says, there is a vibratory frequency with every turn of the earth. If you were the same as you were 360 days ago, you didn't stand still, you went backwards. Sobering thought, right? So each one of us is on this earth to unfold so that we can reveal the majesty and power of God. That's our divine mission. And so we are agents of wholeness, agents of love, agents of harmony, and agents of peace. Maybe little Alice was right. Maybe the perfect divine energy that we call God is the force that keeps us right side up when the world is upside down. So now is the time for all of us to set the intention to realize that aligned in the one presence and one power, our lives are truly in order. So let's affirm together the great truth that makes all this happen, the truth that's being said in unity churches all over the world right now. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and at work in my life. God, the good, omnipotent, and so it is.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God.
So now I invite you, wherever you are in the sanctuary or out in the world, just to allow your body to relax and your mind to clear. Take a deep restorative breath, breathing into that inner sanctuary of your own soul, where your heart does go deeper into God. And as you continue breathing in and breathing out, with every single breath in, just feel the power. And with every exhalation, let go of anything that is keeping you from being fully present in this now moment. Just know, breathing in and breathing out and letting your breath return to normal, that every breath is holy, every breath is divine. And as you continue with the breath, be willing to shift your awareness from this limited, changing outer world to the unchanging, absolute realm of divine ideas. And in this consciousness, I invite you to take into your heart and soul the words of Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore, adapted from her book, How to Let God Help You. She says, God not only created the earth and us, but perfect divine energy is actually the essence of all that we see about us and of all that was in us. As free agents, we are here to learn to take and combine divine ideas into the souls and bodies we are here to use. It isn't that we're doing something by ourselves and asking God outside of us to help. In reality, God, Spirit, Divine Mind, whatever you call the one power, is working through us. We are God's expressions on this earth. And so when you truly go to the Christ within instead of your own human thoughts, you will receive whatever you need. When you drop thoughts of condition, personal desires, personalities, and center your attention and spirit, giving thanks that God is expressing and manifesting every place in the universe, then you will dissolve old error beliefs. Just rest your mind, heart, emotions, and body in God mind, and you will build a world of peace, wholeness, love, and joy. So now I invite you to focus your attention on that splendid order of your body temple. And every cell, every organ, every nerve are organized for vitality and energy. So concentrate right now on your amazing center of the power of order below the navel. See a bright, verdant green light surrounding your digestive organs and just going throughout your whole body. As the green light envelops you, bring into your consciousness any worry or problem in your life, and you can begin to see it dissolved. Replace it with the divine ideas you want to manifest. In the place of resentment, draw on love and harmony. In the place of discord, draw on peace. In the place of illness, draw on your innate wholeness. In the place of divisiveness, hold on to oneness. Use your powers of faith and imagination to visualize perfect divine ideas manifesting in your life right now. See it, believe it, feel it. See your life express according to the law of divine order, mind, idea, expressions. Do this for a few seconds now in the silence. And so now we come together as a greater spiritual community to support one another as we take what we intend to be out into the world. By seeing the Christ in ourselves and all others, we not only strengthen our own spiritual consciousness, but we help others realize and express their innate divinity. We are so grateful. In the name and through the power of the Christ, we say thank you, God. Amen. Thank you, Jane. Music is another way we can practice the presence of God, for sure. So thank you for sharing your amazing talent with us today. So now we come to that time in our service where we pause, reflect, and give thanks for our many blessings. We are grateful to all of you who are supporting us financially, as we do depend on your donations to fulfill our mission of enriching lives through prayer, education, and service. For those of you in the sanctuary, there's a box in the back for tithes and offerings. And streamers, we absolutely consider you part of our spiritual community, and it's possible for you to contribute via Apple Pay, Google Pay, and PayPal. Just hit the donate button on our UnitySTL.org or our YouTube channel. So knowing that we are one with divine source, let's bless our many gifts together. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. And now, if you're willing and able, if you would stand for our prayer for protection together. Oh, wait, sorry, one thing in between. The 2023 initiative affirmation. Let's do that one first. Ready? In year 2023, we visualize prosperity and abundance for First Unity Church of St. Louis and in our personal lives. We trust God and affirm that our abundance is manifesting now. Thank you. And now the prayer for protection. Together. The light of God surrounds us. We are the light. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love. The power of God protects us. We are the power. The presence of God watches over us. The presence indwells us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you all for joining us today. We really appreciate it. As a vibrant, inclusive spiritual community, we come together in oneness of spirit to support one another and express godness and goodness in the world. Don't forget, after service, let's make it 11:50 maybe, we'll have a prayer chaplain orientation, and Mary thinks I forgot this, but I didn't. I forgot to say earlier that tomorrow night is men and women's group, so Mary Tumanello and Roy Ems. If you're interested, everybody's welcome to those. It's a fun night out. See them after service. Thank you. So if everybody will please stand now for our last song, and that is Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God our Creator. Family all are we. Let us walk together in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace.